Hi, welcome to Creeps and Geeks. I'm Corey, and this is Brittany.
Hey. So on today's episode, we're going to go ahead and do The Lizard Man. This is another South Carolina story that is near and dear to my heart. You know? I love the story of Lizard Man, personally. Me. I'm sure you do.
I mean, it's a good story, but yeah, I don't think there's really a lizard man.
Yeah?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So the Lizard Man, this story revolves around Scape Swamp in that area of Florence, around Sumter, in Lee County, Bishopville area of South Carolina. And it starts with, in the first sighting is 1988. In the area of Bishopville, South Carolina, a 17-year-old man by the name of Christopher Davis was driving home at 2 a.m. on June 29th, 1988. He had to stop and change one of his tires that blew out and happened to be near the Scape Swamp. As he was changing the tire, he heard a noise behind him, and when he looked, a massive creature was running towards him. He quickly jumped in the car as the creature started grabbing and scratching at the car. As Davis tried to speed off, the creature jumped on the roof of his car and held on. Davis swerved and tried to shake the creature off the car, eventually losing him. The creature has been described as large, roughly 7 foot tall, green, scaly, with red eyes, and 3 long black fingernails. After Davis returned home from the incident, he found one of his mirrors damaged and scratch marks on the roof of his car. Not long after he reported the sighting, other sightings were reported. Davis also took a lie detector test, which he passed, questioning him on the incident, which adds to the validity that he must have seen something. Apparently, he was also given a lie detector test, and he passed it. So, that kind of... I mean...
That's not admissible in court.
I mean, but he knows he saw something. You know what I mean?
Saw the lizard man.
He saw something.
Saw the lizard man.
Yeah.
Well, what gets me about that, though, is... Okay, so... Just all of a sudden, randomly, there's this monster that jumps out and attacks your car, and it's just his car.
Yeah.
You know, nobody else, just him. And nobody else in history, just him. Like, Lizard Man. I don't know.
Yeah. There's another story from a Jim Wilson, who said that he was driving down SC-34 through Camden, and he saw a tall, dark figure cross the Scape bridge and run into the swamp. He said that he had gotten pictures of it. I don't know. I haven't been able to find the pictures that he took. And
Picture it didn't happen.
Yeah, and he said that it had a tail, a big tail, and it had a snout like an alligator, but it was shorter. He for some reason he himself, like, he described it to his wife, and she was like, "Oh yeah, that's the lizard man."
Yeah, of course.
But he said it looked like a monitor lizard.
Of course it's the lizard man. Why wouldn't it be the lizard man?
But he was saying it looks like...
That seems like a completely rational explanation for that. Lizard man.
And he even admitted that it looked like a monitor lizard, but you can't have... Like, there's no 7 foot tall monitor lizards.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, they're not.
And he said that, like, as he took his last picture, it looked back at him, and then it just, like, went through the swamp.
Where are his pictures?
I don't know. I haven't found them. They're probably not good. I don't know.
They probably don't exist.
Yeah. And in 2008, a couple named Dixie and Bob Rawson had parts of their cars ripped off, and, like it was just sitting in their driveway.
Is that the one with the pictures? I think I've seen pictures of, like, a torn up car.
Yeah.
Front end of the car.
And they were like, it looked like there were bite marks and stuff like that. But, okay, so they said that there were these bite marks in it. They had no idea what had happened. And there was blood So they sent it off, but it only ended up being dog DNA or something.
Sounds about right.
But, I mean, that's still weird. Why would a dog do that? You know what I mean?
I don't know why a dog would do that. Maybe the lizard man ate a dog and then...
So he still had that dog DNA in there, and
yeah,
plausible. So most of the witnesses describe it as being like somewhere between 7 and 9 foot tall, depending on which story's coming out of. But that was a joke.
Oh yeah, it was really funny. Sorry.
He has glowing red eyes, 3 fingers on each hand, and he's always green, scaly. Sometimes
like a lizard man.
Like a lizard, like a literal
exactly
lizard.
what you would think a lizard man looks like. That's what this lizard man looks like.
Yeah, he does. And I actually found a quote from the Lee County Sheriff, Daniel Simmons. He's commented saying, within 10 years, we've received several calls about the possible lizard man sighting, and we did an investigation. If people call, we don't turn them away. If somebody says they have something unusual, we look into it. So I guess he's kind of keeping an open mind about it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, if people are saying that something's happening, then something's obviously happening, but I don't think it's a lizard man,
But that's just a weird, random,
Well,
Oh, I saw this thing, but it was...
One person says lizard man, then all of a sudden everybody's seeing a lizard man.
Well, I don't think the original guy said it was a lizard man. He just said, this is what it looks like, and then...
He described a lizard man.
But he didn't say it was he didn't say, I saw a lizard man.
He didn't say, I saw a lizard man. He just described a lizard man, and then it was called lizard man.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because bipedal lizard humanoid doesn't sound as good.
Once you say that, it's like the same with Bigfoot. Somebody says they see a Bigfoot, and then all of a sudden everybody sees a Bigfoot.
Well, Bigfoot is a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's true. That's for another video.
That's for another video. There was also another woman. She only identified herself as Sarah. She didn't really give her full name or anything. And she said that she claims Lizard Man was running along a tree line when she came out of church one day.
Of course.
Yeah, I think she was quoted
just
as...
running along a tree line.
She was like, by the hand of God, I know what I saw. Like, something like that. So, she was pretty adamant about that one. She was all about it. She got done with her churching, and... she saw the lizard man.
Yeah, lizard man was there.
Yeah.
Sure.
He was getting his church on. That's what he was doing.
He was on the search for some Jesus himself.
He was ready to hear his sermon. Okay. There's also a Lizard Man festival, which I didn't know about this until I actually started researching the Lizard Man a little bit. There's
Seems
a Lizard
like
Man.
a good time though, Lizard Man festival. I'd go to that.
Yeah, it's held at the South Carolina Button Museum in Bishopville, South Carolina, which the Button Museum is also where they keep all of their Lizard Man stuff, as part of the museum. It's like a little part of the Button Museum. So, you can check out buttons, and then you can check out Lizard Man. And they have, all these vintage shirts, which, by the way, I am wearing an actual vintage Lizard Man shirt that says Wanted Lizard Man on it, that a friend
sent to us by our dear friend Brett.
Yes.
And
it's
she's
pretty
been
awesome.
super excited to film this particular video with that shirt on.
Yeah.
She's pretty stoked on it.
And apparently there is a kind of indie movie that's called The Lizard Man. I haven't seen it. There's not really a whole lot of Lizard Man stuff out there, which kind of sucks. I'd like to see more Lizard Man stuff. The only thing that really comes to mind is Creature of the Black Lagoon, and that's exactly, that's more of a...
Sort of,
different.
but not really.
Yeah.
Is he a lizard or is he a fish man?
So, I don't know. Yeah, because he lives in a swamp. He's supposed to live in a swamp, the Lizard Man, but that would mean he's an amphibian man. So I don't know, but he looks like a lizard.
Salamander man.
Salamander man. Axolotl man. So as far as like the sightings go and what people describe, they're saying he's scaly, right? And he's big. So it's like, what could be a plausible explanation for this? What could this be? Could it just be a guy dressed up? Could it be like a mangy bear? Like I can't.
A mangy bear. I could see a guy dressed up. I could see people tearing up their own shit to make it seem like there's a
for insurance.
lizard man, or not really even for insurance, just to be like, ooh, lizard man.
Yeah, like
to get attention, draw more attention to that, and be like, oh yeah, you're one of the lizard man people.
But what about the first sighting? Like, how can that be explained away? That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the first sighting is the weirdest. Like, why? Yeah, and like the marks on his car, the sheriff noted that he did have claw marks on the top of his car that kind of corroborated that story. But could it be something else? Like, what? I don't, you know what I mean? Like, the first story is the weirdest because it's just random and out of the blue, you know what I mean? And it's in the middle of the night, and
it could have been a bear, I guess. In that instance.
But at the same time, it's like, well, how could he have seen a green, scaly bear? You know what I mean?
Mangy bear, like you said, maybe.
Well, I mean, that I was just kind of throwing that out there because
really,
that's the only
anything like
a weird, like alligators don't do that. You know what I mean? Could it be an alligator? I don't know, but like.
No. I mean, it'd probably be more likely to be a mangy bear.
Or is it drugs? Could it have been?
He could have been on drugs. That is always a very real possibility.
Drugs are always a possibility.
Yeah. Especially in bumfucked South Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
That is true.
It could definitely be drugs.
We can say that because we live here.
Yeah, we know.
For real. In that area, there are also other sightings are similar, but the fact that some dude crossed the skateboard bridge, but it sounds more like a Bigfoot thing more than it is like a lizard man thing, because some people say, oh, I saw this hairy 7-foot thing come out of the swamp as well. So it's like, well,
yeah. People see all sorts of really nasty things coming out of the swamp.
Yeah.
Tell you
all
what.
Kinds. But I mean, I don't think that the first sighting was a guy just dressed up.
Nah, I mean, that could have been an animal of any kind. It could have, like you said, it could have been a bear, and he could have been on drugs or drunk and been like, oh man, lizard man. Well, I'm not going to say it's a lizard man, but I'm describing a man-like lizard creature.
Yeah, yeah. There was also the South Carolina Department of Emergency Management. They put out a thing about the eclipse and to watch out for lizard man sightings and paranormal sightings and stuff like that. So it's
I saw that.
It's like an ongoing thing, I'm pretty sure that since that first sighting, they've made a lot of money in Bishopville off of that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like people wanting to come and find the lizard man.
So of course nobody wants to say that the lizard man isn't real. You know what I mean? Because of that. Because
they want people to keep coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it makes sense. I don't hate it.
Mm-hmm. But there's no way to say what it is or what it isn't. You know what I mean? Because I mean, it could be this, it could be that, but
it's likely not a lizard man.
I would like to believe that it's a lizard man because that would be cool. That would be interesting to see, just like Bigfoot.
Yeah, I mean that would be really cool to see, but I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Not convinced.
Not convinced. No.
Not at all.
Yeah. Even by all his artist rendering
No, his artist renderings are pretty incredible, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this is going to wrap up our Lizard Man stories.
Second episode.
Yep.
Complete. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Leave us a comment. Let us know if you enjoyed it. And yeah, we'll see you again next Friday.
In the next episode, which is, if you can't tell already, it's going to be Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yep, Bigfoot for sure.
Bigfoot.
Yeah, but we have a lot more planned. So we'll see you next Friday.
Bye.
Bye. That we can cut down, so.
Yeah.